Alright, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is. We are live full effect worldwide, and we have one of my personal favorites. We have Playa Hamm of the legendary Penthouse Players Clique. I'm telling you, I've been excited for this interview and to welcome you onto the radio station, Playa. But I have to ask, how are you doing this evening?
Blessed and grateful, my brother. Blessed and grateful. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am most definitely doing great, man. I hope everything's all right with you out on the West Coast during this terrible pandemic.
Yeah, we holding on and staying strong, man. You know, just beating the heat and staying cool, man, right now, you know?
Hey, man, most definitely. But I gotta ask you, man, I want to take you back to the beginning, back when, stuff was most definitely, you know what I mean, just easy for everybody in the world, man. What made you decide to get into the music industry?
Well, for me, brother, I was always into music and poetry at a young age, and music, you know, once I got to junior high and high school, you know, I played in the bands there, and my affinity grew from there, you know? And when I graduated from high school, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, and I guess the poetry and the music just came together, and then it's just about honing the skills.
And also, as we already know, you are a member of the Penthouse Players Clique. I have to ask you, how did you and Tweed Cadillac get together? Like, what's the story behind that formation?
One of my partners told me about Tweed early on, you know, before I guess the clique was really solidified or whatever, even though I already had it going with a couple other cats trying to make it happen. The name was already something I was rolling with. But one of my partners, Kevin Roast, he introduced me to Tweed, man, in the neighborhood. Told me he was rapping, and when I peeped his game, one thing led to another, and we decided to put it together.
And also, man, one thing I noticed as well, like all of us fans noticed, man, that you guys were signed to Eazy-E's Ruthless Records, man. And I gotta ask you, how did you get connected? How did you and Tweed get it connected with Eazy-E, man? Like that back then, Ruthless Records was huge on the West Coast.
Yeah, well, actually, another one of my partners had either met Jerry or I don't remember exactly how it happened, but another one of my partners said that Eazy was interested in us. And we had already had a relationship as far as business was concerned. And I was in another situation with Wild West Records over there with Morris Taft. And when Dre, the cat that put us together, not Dr. Dre, another Dre, when he told me that Eazy was interested, I decided that maybe there had to be a better way for me to go. In hindsight, I kind of wish I'd have played it a little different. No disrespect to what I did with Ruthless, but, you know, when you already locked into a situation or you got a relationship, and I felt like the situation could have been handled differently with me and Morris Star, but I don't regret, you know, rolling with Ruthless. I just wish if I had to do all over again, I'd have played it differently, but you know, Ruthless was a beautiful outlet for what we was trying to make happen.
And one thing I really like asking, man, I have to ask this to you, Playa. What was one of your favorite memories that you actually shared with the late great Eazy-E?
Wow, I'd have to say, man, when he used to pull up to my spot, man, and you know, bring the drink and bring the weed, or send somebody for the drink, you know, let him keep the change, man, and sit up and laugh and chill with us and smoke and, you know, drink, even though, you know, my recollection is Eazy barely hit the weed because he wasn't really getting blowed like that, but he was hobnobbing and chilling. Barely hit the drink because he was driving. He was a professional, but at the same time, he was a real cat, man. But, you know, I have to say that's my favorite memory with him, man, in addition to just, you know, spending a little bit of game opportunities I had to share with him, but him pulling up on the personal tip, that was some real, you know?
And there's a reason why I like bringing that question up is because so many people within the media love portraying Eazy as this gangster, crack dealer, all this type stuff. But all the stories I heard of Eazy has just been a phenomenal down to earth individual, and that's why I like asking those questions. That way, the world can hear the real Eazy-E.
Well, often as men, especially black men, things we do get misconstrued as to who we are. And so, some of the things we do along the path become how people look at us. But man, Eazy was a real one, man. Sometimes, people got to look past some of the things we do to really know who we are.
I most definitely agree. And also, well, both yourself and Tweed were actually signed to Ruthless. You guys released your debut record titled "Paid the Cost." I have to ask you, what's the story and inspiration behind that iconic record? Because I gotta say, like, every single song within that record is just absolutely amazing.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Well, some of that music was older music that we had already did, and a few of those songs were newer songs that we did as we were developing the project. And I guess the conception that the perception, I'd say, that we had finally got to a certain point that we were trying to get to. I don't remember exactly how we came up with the name, but I think the reality that we was trying to give off was that we paid dues to get where we are, and that's true. It took a lot. We were some ups and downs and ins and outs, and some wins and losses to get there. So, paid the cost was kind of a description of the journey to that point.
And if you don't mind me asking, the one thing I've always wondered was what made you guys only put out one record as a Penthouse Players Clique?
A lot of things influenced that, brother. We had some issues within the clique that were issues before we got signed together and before we put, signatures on paperwork as a group. Because I was originally signed as Penthouse Players Clique to Morris Tab and for Ruthless by myself. And so we amended the paperwork later on in the game before the album dropped. And me and Tweed couldn't agree on management, splits, movement sometimes. It was a lot of little things dealing with personalities and egos that influenced the reason why we only did that one record. Then when it was time to put the next record out, when I went back to get my money from Jerry, there were issues because Tweed didn't want to be a part of the group no more, and I don't really know what Clique was telling him at the time. And as I continued to do production and bring music to the table, they liked the music, so to speak, but we couldn't agree on the numbers as far as what they should have paid for the next record. And I don't really think Clique wanted to be involved. There was a lot of little things influencing to get on, man. A lot of different personal reasons as well.
And also, I know it's been about 28 years, but do you think you guys might come together, for like a 30th anniversary reunion type record, or is that just something that we all can just dream about?
Well, I keep the dough cracked, brother. I ain't got no hard feelings, man. Like I said, I'm blessed and grateful, man. I appreciate the journey, and I don't know what them cats really own or what they really want to do. I hollered at Clique maybe about a month and a half or so ago, and everything was cool. We didn't talk about no business, though. And I ain't talked to Tweed in a minute. Last I heard, somebody said he was talking about he was retired and he was through rapping, and I heard he had some issues, with his voice and whatever as well. So, I mean, I'm with whatever, man. Cats want to sit down and talk and, do whatever we do, man. I'm with it. I ain't got no problem with them cats, man. It's just, when you realize certain things run their course, and that ran its course, but something brand new, we can do this. I'm with it.
And also, moving on to your solo career side of things, I also noticed that you actually did some work with Salt and Peppa on their song Do Me Right off their 1997 album. I have to ask you, how did you get connected with Salt and Pepper? And of course, what was it like working with those girls?
Actually, I never got to work with them directly. They took that Sugar Free song I was a part of, and they used it in the concept for the record that they did. And so that's just about as far as my affiliation with those ladies goes, man. But, you know, like I say, I'm with whatever, man.
Hey, you can still say that in some way you actually work with Salt and Pepper. You just didn't see him in person, type thing.
Right. And I appreciate the honor, man. I'm grateful, you know?
Hey, I'm gonna be honest, player. You were doing the third party feature type stuff before it was even cool. Nowadays, that's how everyone's doing their features all over the world.
Right. It's a beautiful thing, man. Like I said, I'm grateful, man. When you get the opportunity to touch the world the way I have, man, you still got a few, you know, ways to make it happen, and still got all your faculties and the ability to move around and make things happen, man. And you know, we got some things in the mix right now with my sons, so I'm just, you know, moving with an attitude of gratitude, you know.
And also, when you brought up Sugar Free a few moments ago, I actually noticed while doing my research for this interview that you actually wrote his single "If You Stay Ready." I have to ask you, what made you decide to get into writing? And of course, how did yourself and Sugar Free get connected?
I just wrote my part on that, bro. I don't know where you got that info from or who said that, but I just did my part. And actually, Sugar Free invited me to be a part of that record, man, because he liked my get down. And when he was working with Clique on the project they was working on, he was like, man, I got to have Playa Hamm on this. And Clique put that together. And of course, once again, I was honored, you know?
And most definitely, Sugar Free is a phenomenal artist. He's still actually doing big things within the music industry as well.
Absolutely, man. Shouts out to the man. He messes with my sons, and we got some things in the mix, like I said, that's gonna drop soon. And the dough is cracked, man. I'm looking forward to doing some more work with Sugar Free, man. I think we got a nice chemistry.
And also, 1 year after the Sugar Free work, you actually did work with DJ Quick on the track "No Doubt." I have to ask you, what was it like working with DJ Quick for that single "No Doubt"?
Man, it's always live working with Clique, man. We got something special as well, man. We got music that never got released to the world, man, that I really believe that if he were to do something with it, if he got it in the cut somewhere, once again, man, we could feast, you know. But he gotta want to do that because, like I call him, he's a goose that lay the golden eggs over there, man. He can pretty much, you know, write his own ticket and do whatever he want to do, man. And with him involved, you know, we can make some powerful things happen. He just gotta want to do it.
I'm going to be honest with you though, there, Playa. I think hip hop. That's what hip hop needs today, man. Hip hop needs some old school but new to us DJ Quick and Playa Hamm. I think that would be phenomenal. So Quick, if you're listening, man, you know, nudge, let's drop it.
Man, that's love, man. You know, I feel that way about a lot of black things. You know, we have a tendency to throw our G's away to a certain extent. You know, you see a lot of these other genres or whatever, them cats still can get played and get paid. But, you know, we seem to just gravitate toward the new as opposed to what the foundation is that made that new possible. And then we throw our loved ones away to a certain extent. You know, our oldies but goodies, man, still crack, man, and it's still beautiful music. And a lot of it, you know, we can still represent without looking silly, you know?
And also, you know, right after the millennium in 2001, you actually released your amazing record, by the way. I think it's absolute fire. Layin' Hands. Have to ask you, what was the inspiration and story behind that iconic record?
Wow, once again, man, thanks for that description, man. You know, working with Charlie Clayton over there at XDL Records and making music with JT over there, and worked with a couple other producers, Chris Black Doven and Jelly Roll and Battle Cat and my man about Arizona, I-Rock B. Man, we made some lovely music, man, and putting that record together, man, was just my way of trying to once again, give something to the game and get something back. I really felt good about that record too. There was a couple of issues with it that, once again, when you got certain people involved with your movement, it seemed like, for some reason they don't give it their all. And things happen, when you get money in these streets, and dealing with cats that get money in these streets. And, we be up against a lot of different principalities, so to speak, to create and make something happen. And once again, our ignorance or naivete or insecurities come into play. And, I admit I got a lot to do with that as well, trying to, swing the pendulum from one extreme to the opposite. And then, trying to accept things that really ain't acceptable because you may have pushed the line in the past, too far. And you say, okay, well, I'm going to be cool and let that do that. And then cats don't keep their word and things don't go exactly like you want it to go. But at the same time, we still can make good music, man. And I appreciate you loving that like that, man, because I love that record too, man. I really like that record.
I gotta say, man, my two favorite tracks off that record always have and always will be number one, Break the Bank, and then my number two favorite is Still Loungin', man. To me, those tracks, man, melt my eardrums every time I jam to them.
Hey, man, I get goosebumps when I listen to them records, man, and not just those two, man. Sometimes when I'm riding or, tripping or, got the top down or whatever, just rolling on my own music or my son's music, but some of my music, it really give me a good feeling because it take me back to the moment it was created or the moments that inspired it. And, I really appreciate the cats that worked with me and brought their best to the table on that, man, because I'm glad we still can, reach out and touch one another and make something happen, man. Robert Bacon came in and blessed me on that project, and it wouldn't be what it is without him, especially on that Still Lounging, man. Bacon took that to a whole nother level, man. And Black Tobin, he's one of the most gifted producers I've ever worked with, man, on a multitude of levels of cat that can play and sing and rap and, man, pretty much, he's unsung out here, man. Tobin is a bad dude, man.
And also, speaking of a bad dude, man, a phenomenal artist at that, in 2011, so jumping ahead in the timeline here a little bit, you were actually a part of the Boss Playa project with Boss Solo, man. I have to ask you, how did you get connected with Boss Solo? Because I know he was really big with Capitol Records back in the day.
Yeah, well, man, how that started was, he got at me to do one song. And when we did that one song, I liked it so much. I said, man, we should do a whole project because he, once again, a hustler in these streets, and he was making things happen, and he was bringing some nice tracks to the table. And I'm like, man, let's see what we can do, man. Let's put a whole project together. And so we start chopping, and we start going to the studio, and that record didn't turn out exactly like I wanted because I think my man kind of put it out there finished, to be perfectly honest. But we cool, and it got some nice records on it as well. Like I said, I kind of look at the music one record at a time now, one song at a time as opposed to whole projects. And so, the way the game is it's like it's ready for things like that. So you never know, man. All the music that I got out there could be more, but obviously is enough for now. You never know, man. All it takes is one of them, man, and the next thing you know, your whole life changes.
And also, right now, as we're talking, doing this interview, I'm actually holding Boss Solo's brand new record, man. And actually, I noticed when I was listening to it, because I bought myself 2 copies. One to keep in the plastic as a collector and one to jam to. But I noticed track 12, Real End Shit, you actually did a track with him. I have to ask you, what was it like working up with Boss Solo on his brand new record?
Hey, it was cool, man. And actually, we had a cool chemistry as well, man. We could have done more together too, man, but he was going through some things and I was going through some things, and we just couldn't, sync our schedules up to come together and do more music, man. But once again, when an opportunity presents itself, I keep the boat cracks, man. I don't look over my shoulder when it comes to nothing I've ever done in this game. And any of the cats I've ever worked with before, I'm willing to work with again, man. They know where it's real at. I ain't tripping.
And also, I remember 5 years ago, you were featured on Young Giant's 2P Lane on their. I have to ask you, man. I absolutely love that song, and I was so glad to actually hear you do work with them. But I have to ask you, you tell us a story behind that song and how you got connected with the Young Giants?
Well, you know, those are my sons, brother. And so we've been making music together since they first was able to damn near speak, man. We actually got a sample on one of their mixtapes where Deuce was 4 years old, man, and talking about Clique was his DJ and how he wanted to holler at the girls. So, you know, the fact that, you know, they come from me, man, and shit, man, they way more powerful what they get down than I'll ever be, man, and I'm grateful for that as well. So we gonna continue to make more music together, man. We got a project we're working on right now, and hopefully we can get some more visuals out there and make some real things happen with that. But it ain't gonna stop, man. They working with Glasses and Black Cloven and Jelly Roll and Day One and Battle Cat and things still in the mix with the Young Giants, man. Be on the lookout, man. They taking that same thing we did to wherever it's supposed to go based on, you know, the foundation that their reality is built on.
I'm gonna be completely honest with you, Play, and I want to say my apologies. I had no clue those were your boys, man. I just thought they were people you worked with, but then when you said sons, I was like, well, we clearly already know how they got connected. But I do want to say my apologies on that mix-up. I really did. I didn't see it until now.
Wow, it's all love, man. Yeah, both of those cats, man, they got the same mama and the same daddy, man. At least that's what she tell me.
Hey, man, well, you know what? Hopefully she's right, but either way, man, you most definitely raised two phenomenal, talented individuals.
Man, thank you, brother. Thank you, man. I'll let them know, man, that's how you feel. Maybe I can get them to come do an interview with you as well.
Most definitely, you know, you get us connected. I most definitely will send the date, and we most definitely will make that happen.
Beautiful.
And also, in 2017, you were featured on the compilation album Beaches and Bridges, LA to the Bay, Volume 5. I have to ask you, how does it feel to actually be a part of that project? Because I know those are legendary projects out there.
Man, honestly, brother, you need to tell me what that is, man. I need to probably holler at somebody. What's on there? Which song is on there?
I just noticed it on the Discogs site. It just said LA to the Bay. It was in like the whole list of all the stuff that you're a part of. That they say you're a part of. I don't know if you probably heard of Discogs before. I'm sure you have.
Yeah, absolutely. I just gotta check it and see, man, because you know I've made music with a lot of different cats, right? And then don't nothing really happen with it. And then you know we do whatever we do to make sure everybody get what's theirs. And then you know cats put it out however they can. So I'll probably need to check the trash to see what's up with that and make sure that I'm aware of if there's anything over there from me. I need to be hollering at whoever I gotta holler at and go get it.
Hey, man, most definitely. What I'll do is actually right after this interview, you know, I got your digits. I'll actually send you the link, the direct link to that. That way you can check that out and make sure everything's all good on your end and make sure you got your bread for that.
Please do. I'd appreciate it.
But I have to ask you, Playa, what's next for you? Other than, you know, working with your two sons, the Young Giants, creating some new music, is there anything else that happened to miss during this interview? Anything else you still want to promote? We still have you here live on the radio?
Well, man, just you know that music that we made, man, it's beautiful, man. Just keep playing it, keep showing your support, man. And I'm working on developing a podcast series, and I've been getting a lot of little love on cats shooting me scripts, man, and trying to get me involved in that side of the camera. And you know, I'm setting up a few things as far as on the the back side of the camera as well to executive produce and produce some things, you know, so that we can with all these things going on. You know, you got to spread your hustle. So we laying the foundation for all those type of things, man. Nothing I really want to speak on and put out there now because it's all in the development stages, but I've been working on it for a minute. So as soon as it's time, you know, it's going to drop out the sky on them, man. But I appreciate you, man. It's all about the Young Giants, though. Just keep your eyes out for them, man. Look out for them, supporting them and supporting me, man, and it's love.
And right before we wrap things up there, Playa, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individual that slides into the radio station airwaves. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to. And of course, if you can, drop them social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and all of your new projects if they're not already doing so. But you're Playa Hamm of, you know, the Penthouse Players Clique, so I really do hope that they really are following you.
I appreciate it all, man. I get a lot of love, man, after these things crack, man. You know, what's that? Penthouse Playa Hamm on Instagram. And OG Playa Hamm, I think it is, on Facebook. Shit, man. Young Giants, Deuce Mac, Big Joe West, and all my real ones, they know who they are, man. we're just gonna keep smashing and keep moving forward, man, and keep giving them what they want, what they need, and get ours as well, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. I really appreciate you, brother. I really do.
And I want to say I really appreciate you for everything you did for hip hop, man. Because I got to say I grew up listening to a lot of Ruthless Records projects, man. And I have to say your guys' record, yourself and Tweed, you guys put together a masterpiece. You know, I have to say it most definitely was filled with slappers. And I got to say thank you for everything you did for music, man. And I'm looking forward to your new projects when they do drop.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all that love, man. Yeah, we were blessed to be a part of something major, man, messing with Eazy-E, man, and the shouts out go to him and his family, and you know, much love, much respect, and honor, man, and appreciation, man, can't be expressed in words.
Most definitely. You are most certainly welcome, and I have to say thank you so much for taking the time out of your evening and coming on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. Playa. It truthfully was an honor and most definitely a privilege, but I gotta say, man, have yourself a wonderful night, and most definitely stay safe out there in California.
I shall. You as well, my brother, and thank you once again, man. You be safe out there. Stay strong.
You as well. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, man. Enjoy.